You think people on Wall Street aren't porn drug addicts? Well, I can tell you I've not personally known anybody, but I've heard many stories. I can tell you a story about you all know Larry Kudlow. You all know Larry Kudlow, right? This guy makes me sick. He's just a disgusting loser he's a shill for all the ridiculous, exaggerated American propaganda. King dollar. Ha, ha. No, free trade is great. It's great for workers and consumers. It's great for the country. That's Larry Kudlow, piece of trash. Um, I can tell you a story though. You know, Larry. You all know Larry Kudlow, right? Everybody knows Larry Kudlow. Larry Kudlow. Anybody? Come on, you all know. He was actually an advisor on the Trump administration, but this is a CNBC guy, right? Old guy. He'll croak here in a few years, and I'll be happy. I'll celebrate. He's a scumbag. He's an enemy of investors. He's an enemy of America, as far as I'm concerned. But so Larry Kudlow used to be. So here's the deal with Larry Kudlow. Like a lot of these guys, so Larry Kudlow was connected to the Reagan administration. Okay, I'm not going to get into that, but the Reagan administration was started a lot of problems with America, deregulation, which is always a problem for consumers. I'm not going to get into that. But a lot of these guys, you know, they're living off having some junior role with the Reagan administration. Larry Kudlow was one of those guys. So he had some little role there, and he gets it based upon that. He gets a job at Bear Stearns, and he's the chief economist at Bear Stearns. Okay, this is I think I don't know, I guess 90s something 90s or so. So he's a chief economist at Bear Stearns, right? So I can't confirm this for sure. I was told this by several employees at Bear Stearns. Okay, I can't confirm it, but you can confirm Larry Kudlow for sure admits that he was addicted to cocaine, had a big coke problem. You can look it up online. Anyway, so I heard from Bear Stearns employees, it's known that during a meeting, he was supposed to attend it was a road show, I think it was. And, you know, road shows on Wall Street, they're basically marketing events whereby they bring their company that they're helping to market to some institutional investors. It's called road show, right? They're trying to pitch something, you know, secondary offerings or an IPO or whatever, right? You all know road shows, right? Anyway, so during a roadshow event, apparently, like Larry Kudlow, he's the chief economist. He should be showing up, right? He's not there, and he's missing. So they're like, oh shit, we got to we go find him. Apparently, what I was told was that they go into his hotel room and they find him like under the desk, like all kind of like slouched and crawling like a little like a dying insect or something, all coked out. And he lost his job from Bear Stearns based upon that. Once again, I don't know for sure, but I was told this by several employees of Bear Stearns. So, never liked the guy. I see him as a very anti-American. He's for the top brass. He's for you know make the rich guys rich at the expense of the working class. This is Larry Kudlow and his propaganda on, and this is CNBC in general, right? This is CNBC in general, which is not good. He's your hero. Which one, Jim Cramer or Larry Kudlow? Well, let me just tell you something, my friend. I'll just, and actually, I had this little debate with somebody from another country last night, and she's like telling me, oh, I'm a gold digger. And never put money before character and morality. Okay? Never. Because money, you can't take it with you. But when you go, your morality and your character will be your legacy. Okay? That's all I have to say about that. But do you think it's possible tension between U.S. and Russia and China could bring back manufacturing? H2. It's funny you mentioned that because I gave I actually gave a webinar on Sunday, the forecasting webinar, and I try and stay away from politics. I try and focus on the investment side, but sometimes I just can't help it. And so I mentioned, I said, you know what, folks, you see now all this situation. You get the zero COVID policy with China, and by the way, you all know how bad it is in China. It's really screwed up over there. It's a China is the CCP is flirting with a potential social unrest. I can tell you that right now. That's building. Um, but the point is that you can imagine we've had the supply chain issue all this time, right? It's caused a lot of problems, and it's getting worse now with China's zero COVID policy. They're probably going to lock down Beijing. It seems like, and I know that they've already locked down certain portions of Beijing, but they may be, weaning off of Shanghai to prepare for Beijing. I don't know. But anyway, the point is that then they throw in Russia into the mix, right, which is also worsening the supply chain. And then you throw in the national security risk. I wrote about this 17 years ago, about China entering the WTO, the World Trade Organization, and corporate America transferring all these jobs and facilities to China. It's a national security risk. And we're seeing it now. So obviously now people are aware of it. It's on top of Washington's list as a main priority of the U.S. building China's economy, for China to build their military to flex its arms more aggressively geopolitically. So isn't it shocking how by this time you would think corporate America, Tim Cook of Apple would say, we're pulling our factories from China, right? No. Corporate America, this is the problem in America, folks. Corporate America completely controls Washington. They don't care about anything but profits. They don't care about your jobs. I wrote about this, 16 years ago, 17 years ago. They don't care about anything. You would think that even now, go to the FBI's website. The FBI has even done a video warning Americans about Chinese espionage and how they are they're involved in all types of ways to steal intellectual property to boost their military. Okay, you would think that there'd be something out there to cause corporate America to bring the jobs back for our national security, but no, you don't hear anything, do you? Oh no, it's shocking to me. It's disgusting to me. This is the problem, folks. Capitalism is in a crisis. It's in a crisis. It's gone too far. This is the problem. When you get to a situation in capitalism when you no longer care about your people of your country, right? You're sending their jobs and their wages. You're sending food off their table to other countries. And of course, the media doesn't even tell people that it's illegal to outsource in most of the world. It's becoming more legal gradually through no choice. But many years ago, it was illegal everywhere but America. Now, of course, Europe has to do it, right? Japan's been doing it, but the developing world is not doing it. It's still illegal in the developing world. Think about it. What country, what leaders of a country would send jobs to another country, right? It's a big problem. Well, so Lenovo, of course, Lenovo purchased IBM's PC unit several years ago. I believe at the time they retained a minority stake, but the point is that, of course, that Lenovo is a pretty solid name now. They got that from IBM, and I'll go ahead and tell you. By the way, you're talking about spying. Understand, and I know this. I'm getting ready to do a extensive webinar on China on May 21st. Actually, about a 3 to 4 hour comprehensive, probably the most comprehensive in the world. I've been preparing for for quite some time. But so I know this. I'm not just speaking out of the side of my mouth. And I've been studying China off and on for close to 2 decades, by the way. So, but understand that most of China's companies are involved in the military. They're involved in the military. You all know DJI, right? DJI, the drone company. You all know that? That's from China, right? That's involved with the military. That's a military company. So when you think of these Chinese companies, I'm not going to say all of them, but a large percentage of them are involved in the Chinese military. Okay, so when you're buying products from China, you're supporting their military, and there's a big problem going on with China. I don't know if you guys know this. You all know about, of course, the man-made islands in the South China Sea. You might have heard about that a few years ago, right? And you may have heard about the China's Belt and Road Initiative. There's a big problem brewing potentially with China and Russia. And I think that they're preparing for less trade. I can tell you that. They've been doing that actually for quite some time.